you are a Penn State student, then you're probably aware of a familiar face on campus.
And you can abdicate the responsibility if you want, but you're still responsible because you can now.
With his signature pastel red hoodie and jeans, he can be hard to miss, especially when he's walking in circles in front of the Willard building and talking to himself. Or so it seems. This isn't just some random alumni with far too much time on his hands, because believe it or not, this is his job. He gets paid to pace in front of the Willard building and preach Christianity to whoever may be listening. There are many divisive opinions about him on campus, some of which I will show on the screen from those who do not want to be named. Whether you love him or you hate him, he's clearly garnered an audience here at Penn State. And I figured that this documentary project would be an excellent opportunity to get to know him more and try to understand why he does exactly what he does. So one day I asked him for an interview, and he agreed, as long as he could have what I assumed to be his friend come along with. And we went to the media part of the Willard building, which surprisingly he had never been to before.
Okay, my name is Gary Cattell, and people know me as the Willard Preacher.
Okay. I have a few questions here that I'd like to ask you. What were your experiences like at Penn State as a student here?
Well, at Penn State, like I said, I didn't know why I existed, didn't know whether there was a God or not, was kind of semi-searching. So I got into partying. So I was doing a lot of partying at the time. And got into so much partying that I decided, well, I pretty much got to make a decision here whether I want to finish school or continue to party. So I decided to continue to party. Religion didn't play any role in my life growing up. It was never a topic in the household. I never remember a conversation with my parents about God or religion.
So you were a party animal in college?
Yeah, you could put it that way.
Not expecting that either. How long have you been preaching outside of Willard, and why the Willard building?
When Bro was preaching, I used to come by and listen. He was the original Willard Preacher. I used to come by and listen to him. And he likes to tell the story that one time I went up there and I finally talked to him and said, the only time I'm happy is when I'm listening to you preach. The time Bro started in '77 and the time I started in '82, there's always a lot of students hanging out on the steps. In fact, I just talked to somebody who graduated from 1997. He said, yeah, I remember that. We'd hang out on the steps and there'd always be debates and discussions. I could just start preaching, at whatever time I got out there, noon, 1 o'clock, whatever, and just to go through the whole day.
How have the student reactions to your preaching outside the Willard building, how have the reactions changed as the years have gone on?
And normally, not always, but normally somebody would speak up and we'd get into a discussion or debate. And people would come by just to watch it. You didn't have the phone, you didn't have instant entertainment. So people would come by essentially to be entertained. All of a sudden, there came this generation that just had no idea of Christianity. And so why debate? Why discuss? Why, we've got the phone, we've got social media, we can entertain ourselves. So there was no reason, so it just kind of all of a sudden stopped. So it kind of changed from that point, and that's continued into your generation. Now back pre 2014, 2016, whatever it was, that would bother the person. They'd say, oh man, I've got this belief and I can't defend it. Either I'm not good at defending my beliefs or my belief is wrong. Now you say it to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, okay. And they look at their phone and walk on.
Have you faced any struggles with the other students or
we got into
doing this for so long?
A lot of verbal debates. And yeah, I've been spat at, not spat on, shoved to the ground, slapped, get frustrated sometimes, act out, and it's part of the game, I guess, part of the whole gamut of things. You tell people that they don't want to hear, and some people are going to get upset.
How much longer are you planning to preach at Penn State?
I believe that in the beginning, God called me to do it. I guess we'll find out in the end if that was true or not, but I believe that God called me to do it. And I know that God has ways of letting me know he no longer wants me to do it. So as long as I can still get out here physically, can still do it mentally, I'll just continue to do it.
My final question for this interview, why preach at all?
Well, I mean, I think originally it was because there's a heaven and a hell, and that still goes till today. And people today don't even recognize that. But there is a heaven and a hell. This life isn't all there is. There's the next life, and anybody can end up in heaven, and anybody can end up in hell. So there's that. And then today, of course, there's never been a time, I don't think, in human history where a culture has had more opportunity to get inside our heads than it does now. And when you spend your life looking at a screen or having something plugged into your ear, that's the culture talking to you day in and day out. And the secular culture is an antichrist culture. The fact that there's paradise and misery, and those are the two endpoints, it's extremely important that people end up in the paradise and not in the misery. Kind of a long answer to a short question, but
Overall, Gary had some pretty interesting things to say, even if I didn't find myself agreeing with all of it. After learning about his personal life and his time here at Penn State, it's even easier to see why so many people commend him for what he does. There's no denying that he is a staple of Penn State culture, and he won't be going away anytime soon.